let's begin in the world of baseball as the Toronto Blue Jays with another big win last night over the New York Yankees. It was a close game until it wasn't, and then the Bronx Bombers bullpen just completely imploded last night, throwing away a game against the Blue Jays. Now, the Blue Jays were the better team throughout, but we need to stop and appreciate the level of dominance we are seeing from Kevin Gausman. And it's a bit trickier because the win total isn't where it should be because the offense has struggled in his starts throughout the season. But Gausman now has the fourth most strikeouts in a single season in Blue Jays history, behind Roger Clemens twice and Robbie Ray, who won the Cy Young before he dipped and made his way to Seattle. Gausman is 16 strikeouts behind Robbie Ray. It would take a lot to get to that mark. And Roger Clemens almost had 300 back in 1997. I think we forget how dominant he was with the Blue Jays because there were no playoff appearances in that stretch. But for Toronto to have a guy like this as just the guy in your starting rotation, where it's very not comparing the two careers or anything like that because one guy's in the Hall of Fame, but it's very similar to what Roy Halladay was like, where it didn't matter what was happening with starters 2 through 5 in the rotation. You knew every fifth day, no matter who was playing, no matter who wasn't playing, no matter who you were playing, you had a chance to win. And Kevin Gausman has given the Blue Jays that at basically every start all season long. And that is not something that I think can be overlooked. I think it's down to him and Garrett Cole for the Cy Young. Obviously, I am a little biased with the Blue Jays hat and a Blue Jays sweater on, but I can't imagine a better season than what Kevin Gausman has been able to do. And it's not like Garrett Cole has just been throwing it out there like at the end of Rookie of the Year where the guy's magic elbow or shoulder or whatever is gone and he's just lobbing them in. Like Garrett Cole has obviously been phenomenal, but Kevin Gausman deserves every bit of the flowers that he gets, as he has been an absolute rock and has been everything that the Blue Jays have needed with a free agent signing this year and in his time with the Toronto Blue Jays. And it's another night where the offense was quiet until it got going late. That this offense needs to step it up. They were talking about it on at the Letters earlier this week. The innings, the games here where you get 3 wild pitches in a row and that lets you score 2 runs, and you get a reliever who just loses it. That's not going to happen in the playoffs. You're not going to be able to string a lot of times. You're not going to be able to string 5, 6, 7 hits in a row to be able to get 2 runs. The power needs to come back to guys like Vladdy and to guys like Springer and to guys like Kirk and Bo as well. The Blue Jays are definitely not going to have a 30 home run hitter in the lineup this season. This makes it much more difficult. You're going up against high level pitching basically every night, right? Like pitchers 1 through 4 generally. If it were me, it'd be 1 through 3, but that's a battle that's been lost long ago. Pitchers 1 through 4 in the rotation, so you're not facing a number 5 starter. The bullpens get used much more aggressively, so you're not beating up on bad pitching as much. And this is a Blue Jays club that is going to have to find the bats. But again, and I feel like I've been relatively negative since we've really started focusing on the Blue Jays again here. But you look at what has gone on with this team. Alek Manoah has been a disaster. He was just shut down for the rest of the year. Vlad Guerrero Jr. has been average at best for most of the season. The offense has struggled with runners in scoring position, at least for the first 5-6 months of the year. Coming into September, it's gotten a little bit better. But you have had frustrations with the manager and all of this. This is still a Blue Jays team that, as we sit here today, has the 3rd best record in the American League. It just so happens that the teams with the 2 best records, with the first 2 best records, top two, they're ahead of the Blue Jays in the American League East. That's the frustration of it. And you would have thought for a long time that happened to Toronto, where it was Boston and New York. Now it's Baltimore and Tampa Bay. But this has still been an excellent year for the Blue Jays, and Kevin Gausman and the pitching staff is the reason why. On the Yankee side of things, boy, that Yankee mystique feels like it's gone. Hey, like last night, even though it was 1-0 for most of the game, didn't feel like a game where the Blue Jays were even threatened a little bit. And a lot of that is how well Gausman pitched and then into the bullpen. And then the bullpen imploding for the Yankees. But this does not feel like a dangerous Yankee team at all. And going into Yankee Stadium doesn't feel like the house of horrors that it used to be. The Yankee mystique, at least for now, is gone. And because they are the Yankees and they have the giant checkbook, or at least they used to, that mystique can come back very quickly, right? Like they go out and get Shohei Ohtani in the offseason, and all of a sudden you start to be a little bit more concerned about the Yankees. But there has been a pretty steady erosion of talent in New York for a long time now. And, it's been beaten to death. At 2017, you thought the baby bombers were coming, and it's Greg Bird, who's not doing anything now, Gleyber Torres, who didn't really turn into anything, Aaron Judge, who's been phenomenal. But you had these guys who were supposed to be the next wave of dudes coming in, and it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked out. And they have brought in veterans, but not the right veterans. The pitching staff has been atrocious this year for New York. The bullpen has really fallen apart. There's a lot of work to do for New York now to catch up here, in even just in their division. Like, this has been a frustrating year in Toronto. They feel a mile away from the Blue Jays right now, and the Blue Jays feel like there's a bit of a gap between them and the Rays and the Orioles. Like, the Yankees have a lot of work to do just to catch up within their division. But for now, boy, it does not feel like the Yankees that I grew up with. This kind of feels like the era before that, where the Yankees were just kind of there, but they had an iconic logo, and a lot of history. But yeah, the Yankee mystique certainly feels like it's gone, at least for now.